Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, entitled The Status Quo, Chapter 16, Jaya and Vijaya cursed by the sages. Text number 37. This is the last verse in the chapter, end of the chapter. Vishwasya yasthitilayodbhava heturadya yogeshwarairapi duratyaya yogamayaha Kshemam vidhasyati sano bhagavansthadhishaha tatrasmadiya vimrishena kiyani harthaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. My dear sons, the Lord is the controller of the three modes of nature and is responsible for the creation, preservation and dissolution of the universe. His wonderful creative power, Yogamaya, cannot be easily understood even by the masters of yoga. That most ancient person, the personality of Godhead, will alone come to our rescue. What purpose can we serve on His behalf by deliberating on the subject? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When something is arranged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one should not be disturbed by it, even if it appears to be a reverse according to one's calculations. For example, sometimes we see that a powerful preacher is killed, or sometimes he is put into difficulty, just as Haridas Thakur was. He was a great devotee who came into this material world to execute the will of the Lord by preaching the Lord's glories. But Haridas was punished at the hands of the Qazi by being beaten in 22 marketplaces. Similarly, Lord Jesus Christ was crucified and Prahlad Maharaj was put through so many tribulations. The Pandavas, who were direct friends of Krishna, lost their kingdom, their wife was insulted, and they had to undergo many severe tribulations. Seeing all these reverses affect devotees, one should not be disturbed. One should simply understand that in these matters there must be some plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Bhagavatam's conclusion is that a devotee is never disturbed by such reverses. He accepts even reverse conditions as the grace of the Lord. One who continues to serve the Lord even in reverse conditions is assured that he will go back to Godhead, back to the Vaikuntha planets. Lord Brahma assured the demigods that there is no use in talking about how the disturbing situation of darkness was taking place, since the actual fact was that it was ordered by the Supreme Lord. Brahma knew this because he was a great devotee. It was possible for him to understand the plan of the Lord. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 3rd canto, 16th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Two Doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, Jaya and Vijaya, cursed by the sages. So Lord Brahma has explained the reason why darkness was spreading everywhere, which was beyond the control of the demigods. There is a verse in the Bhagavatam that Prabhupada is quoting here in the 10th canto, in the 14th chapter. Tattenu kampam susamikshamano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam hridvagvapurbhir vidadan namaste jivetayo muktipadesa daya bhak. Brahma is offering prayers to Krishna after the Brahma Vimohana Leela, and in those prayers the wonderful realization of in pure devotee, exalted devotee like Brahma, is very nicely expressed. This particular verse that I quoted, it says that devotees, when they undergo some reversals in life, they accept the tribulations as the mercy of the Lord. Generally, it is understood that a devotee is free from karma. Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhaja. Brahma Samhita says, in the case of devotees who are fully surrendered to the Supreme Lord, all the reactions to their past deeds are completely burnt away to ashes. So, there is no question of a devotee suffering from the reactions to his past misdeeds. But still, Brahma says that bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam. When a devotee suffers some reversals in his life, he considers that reversal to be due to his own past misdeeds. Atmakritam vipakam. Why am I suffering? Even though I am the devotee, fully surrendered to the Supreme Lord, why am I suffering? I am suffering because of my own past misdeeds. Then what is Krishna doing about the suffering of the devotee? Krishna is minimizing the punishment that is due to me because I am his devotee. He is very kind upon me. Out of compassion for his devotee, Krishna is reducing, minimizing and giving me a token punishment. So that I quickly become cleared of all my reactions to the misdeeds I have committed in the past. This is the way a devotee accepts reversals in life. And while suffering the tribulations, hridvagvapurbhir vidadan namaste, he continues to render unconditional devotional service to Krishna with his mind, body and words. Totally surrendered to the Lord, he continues his devotional service, never gives up his devotional service, and he becomes very, very humble. Vidadan namaste. He bows down before the Lord in all humility and continues his devotional service, accepting the tribulations, considering that they are due to his own past misdeeds. Now, if a devotee thinks like that, even though the opposite may be true. What is the opposite of that? Karmani nirdhati kintucha bhakti bhajam. When a devotee surrenders fully to the Supreme Lord, all the reactions are completely destroyed. Completely destroyed. That's a fact. No reactions remain. So then, how is it possible that a devotee can suffer if all his reactions are completely nullified? Then the only explanation is that such tribulations are given by the Supreme Lord out of love for his devotee. Now this is very difficult to understand. Why out of love the Lord will give his beloved devotee some suffering? Why should the Lord give suffering to his devotee? So, there are instances in the Bhagavatam, many instances. There are many instances. One instance is that Chitraketu, he was a very powerful king. He became enlightened by the instruction of Angira Rishi. Chitraketu, his life is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam in quite detail. He did not have any children, and out of a desire to have a son, he married 10,000 queens, and still he did not have any children through any of the queens. So once when Angira Rishi was visiting Chitraketu, Chitraketu expressed his desire that he wants to have a son. And Angira Rishi blessed him that he will have a son. And then the son was born as per the blessing of the Rishi. But Chitraketu became extremely happy and completely lost in spending all his time with the newborn son, and thereby neglecting to give any attention to his other queens. His principal queen, who had given birth to his son, she was the center of all his attention, obviously, because the son is always, the small child is with the mother. So he neglected his other queens. They became completely dejected, and they said, the cause of the king neglecting us is because this child has been born. So let's get rid of this child. So they poisoned the child. The child died. Chitraketu was again, he was very unhappy that he didn't have a son. And after the son was born, he was very happy. And again, after the child died, he became completely grief-stricken, as if he was drowned in an ocean of sorrow. And again, Angira Rishi appeared, came to his palace, and Angira Rishi actually at that time, he enlightened Chitraketu. So Chitraketu became very detached from family life, and later on he engaged in devotional service and became a very exalted devotee. But even as he was engaged in devotional service, once he happened to criticize Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva was engaged in some discussions, spiritual discussions with some sages and saintly persons, but he was having Parvati sitting on his lap during such a discussion, in the course of such a discussion. So Chitraketu thought this was something very odd. So seeing this, he laughed. And Parvati became very angry. How dare you criticize Lord Shiva? So Parvati cursed Chitraketu to take birth as an asura, as a demon, fall down from his exalted position. So Chitraketu, immediately he went to Mother Parvati and offered obeisances and said, I accept the curse. He did not ask for reversal of the curse. He accepted the curse. And he took birth as one big demon, Vritrasura. And he was killed by Indra. Because Indra is supposed to be maintaining law and order, the king of the heavenly planets. So Vritrasura was a big disturbance. So the demigods, headed by Indra, they decided to kill Vritrasura. And Indra killed Vritrasura. But the result of Vritrasura being killed was that he went back to Godhead. So the Acharyas explain that it was the Supreme Lord who arranged Chitraketu to be cursed by Mother Parvati so that he could immediately return to the Lord's personal abode. So Lord arranged that he be cursed, he take birth as Vritrasura, and then he is killed by Indra, and he goes back to Godhead. So this is very, very difficult to understand ordinarily. That why an exalted devotee should take birth as an asura, as a demon. Similarly, in this case, Jaya and Vijaya, personal associates of the Lord, why should they be cursed by some brahmanas when they are doing their duty? Two small boys, what business they have got to enter Vaikuntha? Simply wandering in the universe or in the spiritual sky. What business they have? Simply trying to enter. So they were stopped. They became angry. And they cursed Jaya and Vijaya. So certainly Jaya and Vijaya did not deserve to be cursed like that for doing their duty. It was no fault of theirs. But still, why they were cursed? So it's the Lord's arrangement. So it is said here, when something is arranged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one should not be disturbed by it, even if it appears to be a reverse according to one's calculations. Such associates of the Lord in the spiritual kingdom of the Lord in Vaikuntha, why should they be cursed to take birth as asuras? So this is the arrangement of the Supreme Lord. And it is very difficult to understand such actions or such plans of the Lord But ultimately, everything is done by the wonderful creative power, Yoga Maya, of the Supreme Lord, which is all good, all auspicious, meant for the welfare of everybody. All the actions of Yoga Maya are meant for the ultimate welfare of all the living entities. So therefore, a devotee should understand that the Lord's actions are always meant for the welfare of everyone, especially for the welfare of his devotees. And in no circumstances should one wrongly think that the Lord is actually punishing anybody. When the Lord kills demons, even that is meant for the demons' welfare. They become purified. They are freed from all their sinful reactions. They get liberation from material bondage. So that's the mercy of the Lord on the demons. But it appears like the Lord kills the demons. He punishes them. He favors the demigods. It appears like that. He is partial to the demigods. No. He is never partial. That's explained elaborately by Narada Muni in the 7th canto. The Supreme Lord is equal to everyone, both the demons and the demigods. A very elaborate discussion is there described in the Bhagavatam, between Narada Muni and Yudhishthira Maharaj in the 7th canto, where the history of Hiranyakashipu is described in detail. So we should understand that the actions of the Supreme Lord performed through his Yogamaya potency cannot be understood even by the masters of yoga. Nobody can understand. Only very rarely will great devotees like Lord Brahma know the cause for certain actions of the Lord. And the devotee's attitude always is that whatever is ordained by the Lord, the devotee accepts as the Lord's mercy, meant ultimately for the devotee's welfare only and not for any other purpose. So Lord, out of his love for his devotees, he may even give the devotee some so-called difficulty. Haridas Thakur, he was caned in 22 marketplaces. Why? Because he was chanting Hare Krishna. And the Qazi, who was against such chanting by Haridas Thakur, because Haridas Thakur appeared in a Muslim family, so he was questioned, why, being a Muslim, why are you chanting Hindu God's name? So that was objection raised by the Qazi. So Haridas Thakur did not find anything wrong in doing that. So he did not stop chanting, even though he was ordered to stop chanting. So because he did not obey the Qazi, so the Qazi ordered that he be punished. And that punishment was very, very severe. Very severe punishment. He was beaten publicly in 22 marketplaces. So why the Lord, who's actually the protector of his devotees, why should he allow this to happen for his devotees? So the plan of the Lord cannot be understood by studying such incidents. That's what Brahma is telling. What purpose can we serve on his behalf by deliberating on the subject? He says it's useless to deliberate on this subject. So that's why the devotee always considers reversals as the mercy of the Lord and continues his devotional service under all circumstances. And what happens as a result of that? The devotee is guaranteed to go back to Godhead. He is guaranteed to go back to Godhead. Otherwise, ordinarily, for a devotee to completely purify himself and become eligible to go back to Godhead, it takes a very, very, very long time. Even Parikshit Maharaj, why was he cursed by a Brahmana boy to die within 7 days by snake bite? It's because the Lord wanted Parikshit Maharaj to immediately return to his personal abode. So he arranged that. So the Lord's plan is very difficult to understand. And it can only be explained by the acharyas, the great devotees, the spiritual master. Only they can explain. And we should always consider the Lord's actions as meant for the ultimate welfare of everyone, and especially for the devotees. The Lord is acting in such a way that the devotee very quickly goes back to Godhead. So the 3 births that Jaya and Vijaya take as asuras is meant to serve certain purpose of the Lord, and very quickly they will go back to the spiritual world from where they came. I'll stop here. Gantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada